A week ago, I mentioned that on the fast of Asar B'Teves, it's not so difficult because it's Friday and we're distracted anyway with getting ready for Shabbos. But at the same time, it's always good to have a Friday when you can eat something, which happens to be the case today. The fast is behind us. Unfortunately, what's not behind us is COVID. There are a lot of cases in the country, in the state of California, and also in the Jewish community. A lot of emails have gone out. It's prevalent, so everyone should remain very careful. Don't take unnecessary risks. We go about our business, but we have to make sure that we protect each other. Parshas Vayechi. We'll talk about something which is very well known. It's the custom to give brachos to the children on Friday night. And we say, Yisimcha Elokim Kefraim V'Chimenasha, that we ask that Hashem, it's a quote from this week's Parsha, that Hashem should have our children be like Menashe and Ephraim. Menashe and Ephraim were the two sons of Yosef. So one might wonder, what was so special about Menashe and Ephraim that they have this distinction that for eternity, Klal Yisrael blesses its children, our children, based on these two, who were born, by the way, in Mitzrayim. So what's unique about them? There's a lot to say, but consider the following. It's a very interesting observation. What took place when Yaakov blessed Menashe and Ephraim wasn't that much different than when he received his bracha from his father Yitzchak at the expense of Esav. It was ordained to happen, but Esav was the firstborn. History seems to repeat itself because Yaakov Avinu, instead of giving the bracha first to Menashe, but rather he focuses on Ephraim, at least with prominence, by placing his right hand, which is considered to be the dominant hand, the preferred hand, over the head of Ephraim, even though he wasn't the firstborn. So what's really going on in that particular episode? Menashe was somebody who might have been considered the chief of staff for Yosef, his father. He was the melitz, he was the interpreter, he was always around Yosef to help him with his affairs, running the country of Egypt. Ephraim, on the other hand, he, according to Rashi, Chazal, was very rogel. He was accustomed to study with his grandfather Yaakov, once Yaakov settled in Mitzrayim. That sounds like the combination of Esav and Yaakov from a generation earlier. Yaakov was the one who studied Torah. Esav was the one who went out and about. He was the man of the world. So we see that the paradigm for the Jewish people is to have both forces, and they complement each other. Unfortunately, Esav made a mistake, but that paradigm was reinstituted with Menashe and Ephraim. However, the Bechor might not necessarily be the one who has primacy. Torah is what really takes the front seat. So just as Yaakov was the Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim, he received the primary bracha, and Esav unfortunately was eliminated based on his own doing. Here we have this resurrection of the plan. Ephraim is first, and he's the one who represents Torah. And we have Menashe at his side, one step either removed or considered to be second tier, because he has to provide the sustenance. And the point is that both are important in Ein Kemach, Ein Torah. If you don't have the flour, you don't have Torah. If you don't have Torah, so then the Kemach is also, it's an empty meal, it's an empty gesture. So the point is that all was well and reconfigured when it came to Menashe and Ephraim, and we're reminding the Jewish people that we need both. We need the learners, we need the earners. We don't eschew either one, but we always have to appreciate the fact that the primary goal, and this is whether you're a Menashe or Ephraim, it's to focus on Torah. One last thought is that Menashe and Ephraim were special because they exceeded their potential. They weren't grandchildren alone. They became Shvatim in their own right. And that's a nice thought also when we give the bracha to our children. We ask them to not only reach their potential, but to be Menashe, like Menashe and Ephraim, and be counted even above and beyond, become part of the Shiftei Kod, the 12 tribes. You can't have a better blessing than that, to go above and beyond. Wishing everyone well. Have a wonderful Shabbos.